Now we know it's working as soon as we
Perfect.
hear that little sound, right? That says it's being recorded. All right, well, good afternoon and welcome. We have some terrific people with us today, and we have Samantha and Angela. Now, which one's which here?
I'm Sam. Samantha.
Sam?
Yeah.
I'm
Okay,
Angela.
you're Angela. There we go. We got that figured out. Now, the reason they're joining me today is your company is called the Space Makers.
It is.
And we just found this online. Now, so I do downsizing and you guys do space organizing. And I got this from your website. It says organized solutions for a disorganized universe.
Yes.
Oh, how are we getting along somehow in life? That's the main thing. I love about you guys, your great sense of humor. So in your mind, we're all just disorganized somehow.
Sure. Yeah, I think there's always room to improve, right? I think anyone can improve, even us as professional organizers. Yeah, I think there's always opportunities.
So let's go back to the beginning. This is your side gig, right? Your daytime jobs are, Sam, what do you do?
I'm a professional engineer.
Awesome.
That's fun.
Okay.
Yeah, it's good. It's very different from this. But
yeah, isn't it different? And Angela, what about you?
I'm in the banking industry, financial industry. So numbers, I guess we both kind of have numbers for our day job.
there is a lot of overlap, really. Like you do a ton of organization day to day, myself too, calculations and project management. So there's a lot of overlap, but it's a passion project.
That kind of mindset is helping you in this endeavor, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it has been so far.
So how did you come together with this idea? Like you knew each other from outside previously?
Yes.
Yeah, we've been friends for 5-ish years.
Yeah.
And I guess over the last couple of years, just have done this in our spare time.
Yeah, we've been doing it in our own homes. Any friends' homes that will allow us in there to get our hands on their stuff. So we're always into projects, home renos, helping each other. So we're just doers and we like to do stuff. And then, it kind of turned friendship into a little business opportunity.
Yeah.
So in your minds, why is there a demand for this service? Like, what is it that causes us to be overwhelmed? Is that the right word?
For sure. Yeah.
I think people get busy. Life is busy, back to school, work, kids, animals. Like there's a lot of things that we're trying to fill our days with so much stuff and try and do as many things as possible in the time that we have after work. And maybe the organization of your home isn't a top priority. And a lot of the times, maybe it doesn't necessarily need to be. But then that's where we come in, where we get to kind of help out and make it a little bit more, I guess, organized. Easier, more accessible.
Yeah, we all accumulate things, right? As we live in our houses, and we get freebies and we get gifts and hand-me-downs, and before you know it, you can be overwhelmed with a space, and then you're closing that door, right? To that room that you don't want anyone to see. So it's
like my garage. Describes that. Let's just not go in there.
Oh yeah.
So it just gets beyond people. They're just like, they're sort of saying, that's it for me, I'm done, I guess I can't do this. And that's where you say, yes, you can.
Yeah, it can get to a point where it's like, where do you start?
Yeah, I think that's more of what it is. Like, we've done a job where the space wasn't that, like it wasn't like the cupboards were overflowing. The person just wanted it to be a more useful space. Yeah. And so then we were hired to we barely got rid of anything. We just restructured the space so that it was things that were needing to be accessible were at the front and it looked bigger and cleaner after. Yeah.
So there's different levels for sure. You could be totally overwhelmed with the room, just so much stuff, you don't know where to start. And we can come in and help you through the purging process.
Right.
Or just some more of a restructuring, like you said.
And what kind of customers are you finding? Like you mentioned on your website, I think businesses, for instance. So you would go in and help a business move an office, I think you were talking about?
Absolutely, yeah. Any kind of moves. Downsizing, which is your specialty, obviously. But and if we were looking at a business, it could be moving offices, restructuring the space. So that's something that I've kind of done over the years, and all the offices I've worked in, just reorganized every cabinet and every space to be more efficient.
and trying to like just make it easier for everybody. There's no point in keeping documents or things that aren't used anymore. And just kind of finding out what the client uses and what they don't use, and then talking them through possibly getting rid of it or putting it in a back storage room or something versus the front shelf.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, there was a stat that or a number that we just learned that on average, a person working in an office spends 3 hours a week looking for things that are in arm's reach. Doing the,
where's my stapler?
Yeah. So it's really about systems, and in an office, just systems and rearranging can really help. But also, getting rid of stacks of paper and going through the paper clutter and things like that.
Yeah.
And is it something you just have to do once, or you find you're going back, okay, twice a year, you're going in for a checkup, like your car is getting tuned up, so you're going to come back and have a second look?
Yeah, I mean, tune-ups, we're always personally tuning up our own systems, right? You change, your life changes.
Yeah.
So tune-ups are definitely a thing. It's great when we can implement a system that is like so awesome that there's no need, right? That's where this thing now lives, and it's always going to live there. But I think it just depends on the client.
And some people, like I have somebody that I probably helped think of once a year for the last couple of years, and redoing a closet organization. Yeah. And it has nothing to do with that person being messy. She just likes that I come over and we redo her closet once a year, and it's fun and it looks great after, and it's fun to do, and we enjoy doing it. So just
it feels good.
Yeah.
Yeah, it can feel good to go through, re-edit a space.
And you start to learn the client too, like you start to learn personalities, so you can be a bit quicker each time you do it, and understand kind of what they like, and then you can kind of get through the job quicker every time you go back, I think too.
So when we talk about downsizing a house and doing what you do, why is it hard for people to do it at their own house? Maybe harder than at work?
Yeah, it's that, I think it comes down to the personal attachment, right? Like we're humans, we have feelings, there's emotions, there's memories. So, you're in your own space with these objects that might hold some importance to you. And another stat that we've learned, and we just shared out, but as soon as you touch an object yourself, you are scientifically shown, it's shown that you're more likely to hang on to that item. So really having that third person to hold up the things, you're not even touching it, can help with releasing the object that you don't need.
So is that how you work then? That you're saying, hey, what about this, Ian?
For sure. Yeah. If it works for the client, that's a great way to do it. And we can just rip through stuff, And
the couple jobs that we've done, we've had the client the client chose to sit in a chair, and we just held things up. What about this? Get rid of it. What about this? And it was just like we methodically went through everything.
Yeah. He was nice and cozy and comfy.
Yeah, and he just had like a little drink and just hung out. But I think it depends, because then some people don't want to get rid of it right away. And I think we talked about this previously, Ian, that you can have like a keep, a giveaway, and a donate pile, and the maybe pile. And when you go back at the end of a day of cleaning and go back to the maybe pile, a large percentage of that box is going to be donated, because at the end you're like, I actually don't need any of that. But people aren't quite ready to get rid of it. And sometimes they still keep it, and that's okay too.
Yeah. Yeah. That third party, I think, really helps. Maybe change the perspective, or maybe we can ask the right questions, like, when was the last time you used it? Or do you think maybe we could do this and it might give, extend its life to another owner or something like that. So it's nice to have a third person.
I find when people do decide that, okay, it's time to sell my house and I want to go now, that I've left it so long that it's quite a bit that I have to get done. And it's, I use that phrase, only a crisis initiates action. So something happens at home. Now I'm stuck. Now I have to go. But what you're describing is something if it's possible, it'd be nice to do in advance. I know I'm going to be moving in a year. Let's get started now. Is that something that people could walk through a process of and do it kind of room by room, or how does that work?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's client dependent, right? If you know that the move is happening and you want to just get everything ready to go, so you have that peace of mind, you're not going to be paying to move boxes of stuff that you don't need or
The extra
want.
moving trucks.
Yeah. So if the timing works out well, then sure, let's do the whole house, right? Because a lot of times there's stuff in the kitchen that should be in the closet anyways, and there's stuff in the bathroom that should be in the kitchen. So you can, we do whole house, we can do room by room if there's one specific
Or
room.
like sometimes it can be overwhelming, even the idea of it. Like you said, people get overwhelmed, like their entire house as a project is this big task. And I find that starting with a small space first, you get a quicker reward. So whether that be like just where the plates are in the kitchen, and once you rearrange just that space and take some of the extra things out, when you open that cupboard, then the client already feels a bit lighter. And then I think then the reward is quicker versus starting on the garage. I think that might be like start kind of tiny and move your way through.
Yeah, doing little bite size gets kind of ramps up to maybe some bigger projects. So
versus an entire house over a weekend, like people burn out. It's hard.
Yeah. So it depends on the client, what they need, what the timeline is. So we cater to the client's needs. Like we're here for that person to make their life better, right? To make their move better, their transition better, whatever it is. So whatever they need, we'll cater to them for sure.
Yeah.
And you talked about a four-step process.
Yeah. So we always like to start with a consultation, just to kind of to discuss, what are the goals? What is that room that you close the door of? What are your dreams and goals for the space? And then we cheekily on our website, we say we plan it, which is back to our space theme.
I love your website. That's
Thank you.
It's so much fun. Yeah.
we're space nerds. So we plan it. It's really like, okay, what's our plan of attack here? Really prioritizing what's going to be the most impactful and how are we going to do this? And then we get to work organizing, and that might look different for different people, but it could be helping with the purge, getting rid of stuff, or it could be in addition to moving into a space and organizing your new space. So putting back the things you're going to help unpack. Yeah. And then the fourth step is just, we may the force be with you. We leave it with you. We leave you with the tools to succeed. Right?
That's great.
So we want our clients to go into their space and feel good and use the systems.
Yeah. And then you were talking about the towel statistic as well.
Oh, yeah.
That each person only needs 2 towels.
Yeah. How many towels does a person
How many
need?
do you actually need?
The answer is 2. The answer is 2. Yeah.
Oh, I better write that down. Shock you guys. I'm thinking,
any more than 2 is
too many.
Much. And any less than 2 is not enough. So
right.
There you go. You can edit your towels now tonight.
So normally when I'm talking about, real estate and downsizing and getting ready to sell, it sort of ends there. But what I heard you say is, your process can be, okay, we're going to, declutter your house and get it together. And then we're downsizing from 3,000 square feet to 1,500 square feet. And you can go with them to the new home.
Sure.
Now that's an additional step that maybe, we haven't touched on, but now that you're going into this smaller room, where will these things go? And you can help with that too.
Yeah.
I think if you're in the house, like say you're in your house and you talk to the client, or we talk to the client beforehand, they can say, I'm moving into this one space. I'm going from a 3-bedroom to a 1.5 or 1 in a den. I don't really know what I can fit. And then we could walk through the house with them and say, like, these items, I think they fit in the space, and try and figure out, even before the move, what would move into the new space, and have a conversation about it beforehand, rather than, again, the moving trucks going in and being like, none of this fits.
Too much.
It's too much. No,
Yeah. So we can definitely help on the back end. And we love doing that too. We've got a big database of containers. So we can, look into dimensions and get like containers to perfectly fit to your pantry. And so we can really go into great detail if there's a need there to get them all set up. So that's pretty fun.
Especially in a specific space. Like if the pantry only has 3 shelves, and like we can find the bins that would be most efficient in that space.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I think you talk a lot about that, don't you? About finding the right bins and the right, that maybe the rest of us don't have or don't think about because it's not our thing, but.
Yeah. Containment. Oh, we
Even
love it.
we did one of our first jobs that we did.
Containment, yes.
One of the first
So
jobs
fun.
we did as the space makers was your hall pantry, your hall closet.
Yeah.
And it was organized. It was nice. Everything like similar colors. It looked great. And then she just wanted to make it more efficient. And the space that was created and just finding a couple of containers.
Wild.
It was crazy.
Yeah.
And we reference those pictures often because it was so surprising even to us that when we found like baskets for the pillows and the sheets were all folded in a particular way in bins,
yeah,
there was so much extra space in there. Hey?
Yeah. It's amazing what an intentionally sized and placed container can do for systems and just clarity and convenience.
Being able to like pull it out and restock it versus like shoving sheets like in a stack. You can have a bin where they're folded efficiently and then it just slides back in and then it looks clean and tidy.
Yeah, we love containment.
And of course, with COVID, you're doing things virtually.
Yep.
Talk a bit about that.
Yep, not necessarily by choice from
Yep.
the beginning,
Yep,
but maybe now. Yeah, we were forced into it, but gratefully so, because it's, it's kind of a different little niche that we can do. So if, we've done projects for people out of province, and it's just a lot of, communication, phone calls, however the client prefers to communicate, but we have set up a system where, they send us some information and then we spit out an organizing guide, a virtual organizing guide, complete with pictures and an overlay and of the containers and links to the specific containers. So it's kind of a, we can help them through the purging process. Obviously, if it's virtual, for whatever reason, we wouldn't be in their space with them, but we can walk them through and give them however much support that they want through that side of it. And then we really work our magic on the containers and organizing where things now will go to give them an efficient system. It's really fun.
Yeah, for like an example, we did a closet and it had the whole closet, and then we found containers and bins and sketched out the dimensions and then gave them the image back with direct links to all of the containers. Yeah. And then they just have to click on it and it goes right to a website to buy it, which is
to buy them, and then they just do what you've laid out for them, like a blueprint.
Exactly. Yeah, and then they send us the awesome pictures, and then we get very good. Yeah. So it's different, but it's pretty niche. But it's for the person who, for whatever reason, doesn't, maybe with COVID or they're out of town or whatever. But we can help virtually, which is pretty cool.
Or even clients who have parents on the island and maybe they aren't on the island and they want some help and they want an opinion on what they think, like, can you help, I don't know, mom's moving, downsizing, can you help with the space? These things are important. Or they're here for a weekend and they walk us through the space and then they go home, we can still communicate with them like through Zoom calls or over the phone and make it easier.
That's terrific.
Thank you.
That can really be helpful. I mean, as we look of, on Vancouver Island, a lot of people that are ending up at downsizing can be older, can be on their own. Yeah. For any number of reasons. Family can be in Calgary, Toronto.
Yeah, that happens often.
It does, doesn't it? And it's pretty easy to get lost. They already are flustered because of all the things going on or loss or something. And so this service could be terrific.
And people have to go back to their lives, right? So if you have a parent that, again, is downsizing and you need to go back to your day job,
life goes on.
It's hard to follow up and maybe unpack boxes or help with the actual, like, rebuilding kind of a home for the person who's just moved. Yeah. And I think that would be a really nice thing to be able to do for people, is just make their new home a home, not just moved into. Yeah.
And we definitely, I think, are proud of the fact that we take a very personalized approach. So we really like to get to know our client, and it's quite a personal thing to have someone in your space touching your, objects.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, it's vulnerable. So we really like to pay attention and get to know them, and
and nothing gets thrown out. Yeah. There's always a conversation of each piece and each item. And
so we're very respectful, and we like to just have as much of a personal touch and really get to know our clients.
Mm-hmm.
So in situations like that, that can be really important and make it less of a challenging and, you know, what can be a hard thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. So your company's called the Space Makers. How do we get a hold of you? You have a website?
So many ways.
So many ways.
So many ways. Just give me two.
Website www.thespacemakers.ca.
Okay.
And
Instagram, Facebook.
Instagram, Facebook, perhaps. Uh-oh, I lost you. No. Looks like you're frozen.
I'm on Google as well.
Oh, there you go. I
There we
think you froze up there.
Oh,
That's
you-
okay.
you got it.
That's okay. So we were talking about how to contact you. You've got a website. Of course, it's a great website. Congratulations. I think people on there get a really good sense of who you are. That's the spacemakers.ca.
That's
Yeah.
right.
Okay. And is texting the other way then, or email?
Yeah,
Sure.
we've got Instagram and Facebook, and we're on Google as well. And so you can find our contact information if you just Google us. We've got our link to our website and everything there.
Yeah, our emails, thespacemakerspo@gmail.com. PO is for professional organizers. Yeah, so we email, phone, whatever works.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh,
Hopefully
terrific.
We'll get back to you.
Okay, Samantha, Angela, thank you. This has been great.
Thanks,
Thanks,
Ian.
Ian.
Thanks
And,
for the opportunity. This
Yeah,
is,
really appreciate it.
yeah, it's been fun to get to know you, and we appreciate the opportunity. It's great.
I'm sure we'll be doing more work in the future. And I love your business, and I love your spirit and your attitude. And let's keep it going, okay?
Awesome.
Thanks, Ian. Thanks so
Okay.
much.
Take care.
Okay.
Okay,
Bye-bye.
bye.
Bye.